Welcome back to the Football Tragics. All four of us are here. Finally, it's been a while, but we're all here. I'm your host, Aaron, joined by Tony, Morty, and Campo. Finally, as I said, at last. Tony, you've been missing a little while. I've been missing when you're back. It's hard to get us all together, but it's happened. It's finally happened. Let's just jump straight into it, I suppose. First game of the round was Southampton taking on Norwich. Absolute blockbuster Saturday morning game, this one. Southampton coming out for 2-0 win, as you can see there. Tony, what were your thoughts on this one? Pretty comfortable stuff for Southampton?
Oh, it was pretty comfortable. It could have been a lot more. Southampton, obviously, they're a team in form. They've got a manager who people want to complain that players go down injured in certain minutes so they can get a bit of a refresher, but he's doing his job. They're getting results, and I didn't see this going any other way but a Southampton win, so I think it was pretty straightforward. Yeah,
pretty routine stuff, I think, especially against bottom of the table. Southampton are looking pretty good. Unbeaten, I think, unbeaten in 9 or only one loss in their last 9? They're into 9th now. Can they sneak into a European spot, Campo, or is it probably too late for that?
I think they had to go on their run a bit earlier because you can see the teams above them. I just can't see them overtaking them. Maybe if West Ham keeps slipping up, maybe they might fall down a fair bit, but I can't see anyone else in that top 8 falling out.
That's it. I mean, if they can continue this run, I suppose it's a very good finish for them this season. I suppose they can be proud of that. What are your thoughts on the game, Morty?
Stock standard from them. They were given a million chances. They still can only convert 2. Norwich, they're back. Their purple patch is over again. Not happening. I'm done giving
purple patch. They've gone from last to last. There's no such thing as a purple patch.
They were into 17th at one point.
And then they've gone from last to last. It's last to last.
Then when the teams played their games in hand, they went back to 20th. So
they actually got some wins on the board. That's their purple patch, all right. That's all they could muster up. But they're back to square one. They're back to exactly where they are. And Southampton, again, they just can't put it together for a full season. They've done it for a few weeks now. Saw it last season. They did it at the start and fell away. This season they started out shambles and they've put something together. They've still got to find a way to get more consistency into them.
So no credit for a team that, again, is only one loss in the last 9, have gotten draws against like City, United.
Beating last place
these days against United.
Yeah. Beating last place, like how much credit can I give?
I mean, you can only beat what's in front of you. 2-0 wins better than the 0 or a 1-0 loss, is it not?
Yes, but I've given them enough credit over the last 3 weeks, so I can't give them any more.
Yeah, look, I think with Norwich, like you said, their purple patch is over. They went through a couple games there where they got up to 17th. They looked okay. We thought, maybe, just maybe they can stay up, but no, it's not going to happen for them. They're going back down.
Excuse me. I never said they were staying up. I said they were gone every single week I had the chance.
The general public. I didn't say they were going to. I thought maybe.
I don't even think the general public gave them credit enough.
It was definitely about a 1% chance, but that's done. Will Dean Smith last out? Will he be there next season? Is he a longer term manager for them, or do you think he's gone? Campo, you're saying yes. Morty, you're saying no.
I think he was signed that if they go to Championship, he's the manager to get him back in the Prem.
Yeah. I think that would be the case too. All right, well, let's move forward to a team that has sacked their manager, courtesy of Campo's team. It's Leeds 0, Tottenham 4. Campo, you get to start us off here. Thoughts on the game?
Leeds just are very open. They don't defend as a unit. They man mark. And then if Harry Kane drops into the middle, their defenders follow him. So then there's always this space in, and then Sessegnon and Doherty provide that width down the wings, and it carved them open every single time. We could have finished this game 10-0. We had that many good chances. Kane and Son again breaking the all-time record, taking it from Drogba and Lampard. All-round good performances. Kulusevski performed out of his skin again. Just a very pleasing result and 3 points, baby.
What was it? 3-0 after how long exactly?
30 minutes.
So. And like you said, you could have been 10-0. You're probably expecting at that point because Leeds, I mean, they've shipped goals for fun recently. What was it? 6 against Liverpool only a few days prior. And then, this was the same result, really. And, I mean, sorry?
We tried to give him a goal. Lloris ran 40 yards out of his box, didn't tackle him, and then gave him an open goal. He didn't take it. So that's just Leeds in a nutshell.
Tony, do you feel sorry for the situation at Leeds? I know obviously you're a United fan, so you wouldn't, but like Marcelo Bielsa, he's gone now. He's been sacked. They probably didn't want to do it, but they were left with no choice, were they?
I think they've left it too late. I think if they would have done it 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, they wouldn't be drawn as close as they are now to this relegation. Obviously, teams do have games in hand. Leeds could find themselves in relegation once those games in hand are played. So it was about time, and we saw it with United. They kept on to Ole because of that moment, that connection to the club, and ultimately it was costing us where we have to be. And yes, we've still got work to do, but it's the same thing that Leeds are in now. If they can survive this season with a new coach who can turn teams around that don't have massive players, they could look at themselves in a couple of years' time and be challenging for that top 4. And unfortunately, if they held on to Bielsa for too long, they could also find themselves back in the championship in a couple of weeks.
So this new coach, American Jesse Marsch, he's been brought in. He only lasted 5 months at Leipzig before he got the sack. Is that a worry, or how do you look at that one?
Well, I don't think you're coming in with much expectation other than to survive and build next year. He's not coming in here to, like I said, win the league in a year. He's coming in here to save us because we stuffed up and held on to Bielsa for too long. Save us, finish in the top half where, arguably, if you look at the teams here, that's where Leeds should be. If they learn how to defend, they're a top half team. I think we can all see that with the attack they do put forward at times, but they get their injured players back. They survive the season. I hope they don't, but they're in for a better season next year.
Campo, Spurs are back on. Morty. Spurs are back on track, are they? They've got a couple of games in hand now, looking good for top 4.
No. Come on, settle down. It's Leeds. Huh?
Oh,
you mean
like
they played Leeds? They played Leeds. Like,
okay.
Realistically, look, more the Leeds side. Bielsa, he's really good at plan A. Has got no plan B, and he's needed it in the fact that he's had no Brentford, he's had no Calvin Phillips, he's had who else is on the someone else is on the out there. They're missing. I must say two key players. They've still got Rafinha, but they still played the same way. And Dan James up top is not Brentford.
Like you leave Dan James alone.
No, I don't have anything against him, but he doesn't play the same way as a Brentford plays for them. They're not the same style. Like, there should have been a plan B there to be playing something different, but they just don't, and they get found out. Tottenham, I don't know, have they taken a leaf out of Newcastle's Joel Linton book and played Kane as basically a centre mid these days? Because he's not a striker anymore. He's dropping further back than the centre backs.
I mean, his assisted son was definitely a centre midfielder's ping, so.
Maybe in his old age, is that what he's going to have to do? I don't know. He's never been the quickest.
He's only 28.
He's still got no trophies, so we'll move along. I don't see this changing much for Tottenham or Leeds. I think Leeds will still be on that path down. I still don't think they've realised how close they are. The games in hand are very fraudulent around them, and they could quickly, even with some wins on the board, find themselves dropping when everyone else gets games on the board. So,
well, I mean, both teams below them have 2 games in hand. They win one of those games in hand each, and Leeds are in relegation. So,
yeah.
Like I don't know about you guys, but like I said, I think that Bielsa second came way too late, and they've actually finally realised where they are, and they've shit themselves.
Yeah, I think they were definitely just kind of floating around there. They thought for a while they were just mid-table, and then all of a sudden all these teams are picking up points, and bam, like you said there, they're fighting relegation. Speaking of a team who's no longer fighting relegation, out of nowhere, it's Newcastle, the 2-0 win over Brentford. Again, Brentford, they're in some shocking form, but Newcastle are on fire, and they're into 14th now. Morty, what are your thoughts on, Newcastle, they're flying right now?
Just the new signings. It's just a culture change in the dressing room. They've got some hope. The new Eddie Howe, he's doing okay there. I wouldn't say they're playing much better football. I think their drive in the game has pushed them on to actually want to win the game rather than they're just going out there and doing a job. So I think they've done enough now to be safe. I think there's some other teams I've got some more concerns about, and I think they'll be looking to just try and test out what they've got, and they'll be sussing out what they need to sign in or the end of the season.
Tony, thoughts? Newcastle looking good now?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's obviously it's a big obviously result for them. They are moving away from that relegation. I think they will be fine. Again, I said this when we went over the transfers. If they stay up, they won the transfer market, and I think they're going to stay up. In saying that, we always say, like Morty was saying, it is Leeds, it is Brentford. They're in more of a hole than what we think. They're arguably in a worse position than Leeds because they've got the teams behind them have 3 games in hand. Even Leeds have a game in hand on them. So if we're going to say Leeds are shit and Leeds are in the mud and, yeah, Tottenham won, but it was Leeds, well, it was Brentford. So
Well, you're not looking at this and thinking, like looking back at Newcastle's results, they're unbeaten in however many games it is. Like they've been flying recently. They've been like Eddie Howe's turned that team around.
Oh, yeah, take nothing away from Eddie Howe. I think he's done a brilliant job. And I think when we're all talking about these world-class managers, I think they've got this appointment spot on. They've got someone in who's brought life back to it. The fans are bringing life back to the stadium. And the more they get away from that relegation, the more the fans are going to get behind them and the more wins that are going to come their way. So as much as I hate it, fair play. And if Newcastle's not going down, let's send Leeds.
I mean, I didn't get to see what your predictions were for this game, but Campo, did you predict this win for Newcastle? Or did you think Brentford would offer something?
I actually went for a Brentford win, and the game was ruined pretty early. Well, like Brentford got a red card in the 11th minute. The first time I saw the challenge, I was actually wondering what happened. I didn't see the studs in the shed, but when you look at, he went for the ball. He went for the challenge. He wasn't trying to injure the player, but he got his foot in the wrong spot, and it was a deserved red card, and it just killed Brentford's even chance of winning that game. So again, another day, Brentford have 11 players. It could have been a different story, but the way it unfolded, they were down to 10 and Newcastle deserved the win.
Are you worried for Brentford, the current situation? Could they go down?
I still think there are teams worse than them. For example, Leeds, Watford and Norwich. At this current stage, I think they're the 3 teams that are in the most trouble of going down.
Morty, agree?
Well, lucky that they've got Norwich next, so maybe there's some confidence going for. I think we'll get a better gas on Brentford over the next 2 games because they have that Norwich game, and then they come up against Burnley, and I think that game will be key because that'll really change the table with the games in hand where they're actually sitting.
That's a Burnley team who, I mean, they're going through a little bit of a purple patch currently. 3 unbeaten now. It doesn't sound like a lot, but for a relegation team, that is 2 wins and a draw. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I think the one against Norwich, like you said there, that's massive. If they don't get 3 points there, I think that puts them almost down alongside them. But yeah, that Burnley one's probably the bigger game. Moving forward, we've got Brighton taking on Aston Villa. 2-0 win for Villa. Another clean sheet. Plenty of like 2-3-0 scorelines this week. Morty, what were your thoughts on this one? Are Brighton suffering from, like you said earlier, at Southampton, where they started the season so hot and then have now just fizzled out?
This has been Brighton, though. They've had some good games and then they just throw it away in one and they'll get back on track. But take nothing away from Villa. I mean, they've also been in some rough form and I think they're just getting it back on track with it. So a 2-0 here, I think you could be ready either way. So yeah, I'm not too fussed of either teams. I think they're pretty much settled as well. They're not really going to be competing for moving up or down. So a bit of a nothing game.
Yeah, I think Villa needed this game to get back on track. Campo, what were your thoughts on the game?
Just an absolute cracker from Matty Cash to open the scoring. Ruined Brighton's game plan from the get-go. And then just a lovely hoof up the field from Tyrone Mings, I think. I don't think he could pull that pass off again if he tried. But sets through Ollie Watkins. But Brighton just, for some reason, I think they're in a bit of a rut where they're not creating chances like they used to. They're not opening up teams. I don't know what Graham Potter's got to do to change that, but I think they're in a bit of a rut at the moment, and Villa deserve that win.
Yeah, I mean they are in a bit of a rut, but they're in a comfortable position where it's not going to. I mean they're never going to get European football, I don't think. But they're enough away from the drop where they can kind of experiment a bit now and see what they can build for next season. I think because I think at this point in time for a team like that, you do start to look forward to what you need in the transfer window and what you can fix. Tony, good result for Villa, back on track.
Oh, it's a massive result for Villa. Obviously, they were only that 6 points clear of that relegation drop. So they went in, obviously, looking at the possession. They only had about 35% possession, but they stuck to their game plan. They executed their game plan. And this result goes a long way in making sure, A, whether they were in doubt or not, that they stay up. And B, like you said, this could be a kickstart to get them into that top half and be a big building block into next year. So fair play to them. They got the result. And I think like we've all covered, Brighton, they'll come back, they'll win a few games and we'll be like Brighton in the back, and then they'll go and lose to a Norwich or a Burnley. So that's just Brighton. That's what we expect.
All right, Tony, we're going to stay with you because it's United 0, Watford 0. Give us your thoughts on this game, because you look at the stats and you just, how on earth was this 0-0? Put it into words.
Honestly, to put it into words, it's shambolic. We sit here every week and the midfield gets the blame. Maguire gets the blame. If De Gea makes something that's not a good save, De Gea gets the blame. And we look forward and we've got the Messiah in Bruno and Ronaldo, who are meant to carry this team, and they're missing chances left, right, and centre. Alenga's missing chances. It's just, I don't know. I've seen a few videos. Is it Ronaldo's fault? Is it the rest of the team's fault? I think the whole team just has to take ownership for this. Obviously, in the last 10 games, Maguire has the same goals as Ronaldo, so that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? It pretty much sums up how United's playing at the moment. We weren't giving him service. Well, he got his service and he was missing goals. So it's tough to watch. I'd say I'd almost be comfortable in saying bye to the top 4 after that result. Arsenal's got like 3 or 4 games in hand now. They're only 1 or 2 points behind. Spurs obviously can now jump us with their games in hand. So I don't know. I think that's goodbye top 4. And honestly, I'd rather finish 10th than drop into Conference League. So if we're going to drop that far, I'd rather lose 6 or 7 points and drop out of that European altogether.
I think Ronaldo started the season pretty hot. It was evident he started well. Was it false hope then that you guys thought maybe this is Ronaldo who's going to bag 30 goals, or is it like you forgot that he's 38 years old, 39 years old, and he's probably not going to get that many? Like, were you guys led to believe that the 23-year-old Ronaldo?
I don't know, because like he scored plenty of goals when he was at Juve. He scored plenty of goals a couple of years ago at Juve. So at Madrid, wherever he was, he's gone and scored goals. I think what we're seeing is how hard the Premier League is, and you want to use Ronaldo, you want to lose Lukaku, you want to use strikers that have come from Serie A or Spain. They all struggle, and it probably doesn't help that, like you said, he's coming on in age. It's a lot to carry, but in saying that, I think how he hit the ground running so quickly, so fast, it did give us that false hope, but we never expected at the worst that it'd be this bad with the 1 goal in 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at Prem's, it's tough. And then you look at a player like Aubameyang who's gone and scored 4 and 4, 4 and 5 for Barcelona now. So it just shows a La Liga. It's different leagues.
Even Traore's tearing up at the moment.
Exactly. So, Campo, thoughts on this game? Was it just a case of like they just couldn't score to save their life, like all over, but in one of those games you just can't find the net?
I got to give credit to Big Ben as well. He pulled off some cracking saves, especially
he
that
made
one.
3 saves the whole game. You can't give him that much credit.
But that one from Bruno, point blank, he should have scored, but the keeper denied it. So it's just one of those games. Watford can be tricky to break down, but United should have won this. They should have.
They weren't tricky to break down. We just couldn't put them. We couldn't get the ball.
That's 1 point against Watford in 2 games this season. Those are the games that could be 6 points every season.
Yep. Yes, it should be.
But when we beat Spurs, that's 6 points from Spurs, so it kind of evens up a little bit. So,
Morty, thoughts on the game? Chance to shit on United, I suppose, for you?
I don't have any shit left to dribble about them. I've been able to say it all this year. I've never had to spit out there and just crap about them. The worst part is they're still currently in 4th. Like, what does that say about the rest of the league? Because they've been dire, and everyone else has just been somewhat worse.
We haven't been dire. If we win this game, we're probably saying it's the best game United's played.
The most expensive team in the world, and you're up getting one point from Watford the whole year.
I think that is like Tony said. That's the difference, though, between the best game all year is a goal, because it was you were creating chances for fun. 22 shots in total. Like it should have been 5 or 6-0. But the reality is it's 0-0 and it's 1 point and it's 2 points dropped really. So it does go from being the best game all year to just another game that you should have picked up 3 points in. But you are still in fourth, so that's a positive you can take from it. Watford, I suppose, are in 19th, so they don't really gain much from it either. But all right, we're going to move to the other side of Manchester. Well, Merseyside, really.
We forgot the Burnley game.
Where?
Nobody cares about Burnley.
Fine, we'll get to Burnley first. Sorry, my bad. The order's
hold on. I have never seen someone so excited to get to a Burnley game. Never in my life have I seen someone so excited.
You get to start us off, mate. Burnley 1-1 with Palace. I was the game.
How good. Straight up. King Wout again. Verkhorst.
Oh, my God.
He just shines in that team, I tell you what.
You're hoping he goes to Spurs when Kane goes to City, are you?
Oh, I'll take him any day of the week now. That man is just incredible. For 6'6", the things he can do with his feet, just incredible. I love Burnley's back. No shots, nothing, and still pulled away with a draw here. Just incredible. Keep him up, baby.
Morty, can you follow that with anything?
Burnley better be going down, otherwise I'm having words with some other teams because, my Lord, they had one win whole season up until the last 3 weeks, and that's where they got some points from. They're a disgrace of a team. Like, they can't keep playing this football in the league. Like, we talk about one of the best leagues in the world. We can't say that when we've got freaking Burnley in it, just sticking it up. It's absolutely horrific to watch. No one else around the world goes, oh, yeah, I'm waking up to watch Burnley today. I don't think it's ever been said. I'd rather watch bloody Stoke in the third division than...
They are playing tomorrow morning against Leicester in a lone game. So are you going to get up for that game?
No. Think of nothing worse than watching that. Other than, when I have to watch them, I don't choose not to prove they exist. Just happy to skip it. But Palace... I don't know. They've got some room for improvement. They should have been winning this game. Without Gallagher in that squad, if Chelsea pull him back after this season, they're going to need some signings. And again, we'll go through the Zaha cycle of whether he's leaving or going. And I don't know. I don't know. They're being held together by some loanees at the moment. We'll have to see how they're going. Tony,
can Burnley pull off the Great Escape?
I'm with Campo, mate. Let's get Dyche and Burnley stay in the Premier League. Listen, Morty, if it's Leeds that goes down, it's for the greater good. We'll just let it go and we'll deal with Burnley next year.
How? We get goals from Leeds. They get scored against, but at least you get to see goals.
But that gives me false hope. Every time we play Leeds, we put on a massive result, then we turn to shit. So, I need Leeds out so I don't get that false hope. And I don't get excited for a few weeks. So,
Campo, Kane's not... No.
Nah, Dyche and Burnley, they're staying up.
Well, if Burnley do stay up, one of the teams that could be going down, and we can get into it now, is Everton. A 1-0 defeat against Manchester City. Massive controversial game. Campo, I'll let you start us off this time. What were your thoughts on the VAR call that basically decided the game?
Well, what is that rule? If it hits the shirt, it's no penalty. In one of the photos I've seen, it's on the shirt and skin. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's a penalty? Because there's just too much 50. It's a grey area. There's no black and white with handballs because they showed last year to get rid of that grey area. If it hits the shirt, it's a no penalty. But no one ever considered if it hits the shirt and the skin. So I don't know. I don't know what.
Get the long sleeve shirts out, boys. There's no handballs. Get the long sleeve shirts out.
To think that Everton played out of their skin this game. I know they weren't maybe attacking wise, but defensive, they gave it their all, and then to be undone by, the handball that they should have got to equalise, really. But then I suppose the comical goal that they conceded, the defending was atrocious for that one play. Michael Keane was like a baby giraffe for a minute there. But they deserve more for this game. And again, this can decide a relegation, who goes down, and it can obviously decide who's going to win the league. Tony, thoughts on the call, for example, and the game as a whole?
The game as a whole, City deserved to win. If you look at the game as a whole, obviously the way it happened, the errors that happened, it's not the best, but mate, what's a handball these days? Honestly, like United out of the FA Cup on an accidental handball. So why should it be any different for a defender? It's not that he purposely threw his arm out and wanted the handball. He's moved his arm. It's hit his arm. It's the same thing that happens. So if you're going to give one advantage to an attacker, maybe if there was an Everton player closer to him, it's a clear penalty all day. But I think in that situation, if that is the rule that an accidental handball is play on, then it's play on.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he knows what he's doing. He puts his arm there because he knows that if he doesn't, he's lost control of the ball. And he just thinks, I pray to God I can get away with this because I know I've stuffed up. Morty, yeah. I mean, it's massive for the title race. You guys are well and truly in it. Had they have dropped points here, City, you would have been almost in the driver's seat. What were your thoughts?
Well, I honestly think Everton forgot that playing City, and if they continued on for that draw, that would actually give us a helping hand. So I think that's their excuse for the. I don't think
I'd rather go down than give Liverpool the title. If I'm honest with you.
Some of their fans were going crazy, acting like they actually had a chance at winning. To be fair, that first half I was considering maybe they might, scrap something here. But again, that handball. I mean, in agreement, an accidental handball is an accidental handball, but he's moving his arm to control the ball. Yes, it's maybe out of a reflex or not, but it's not like it's just bounced up and hit him there. He pushed his shoulder forward, his chest forward. It's hit him in the arm. He knows he's cleared because he cleared it straight off the bat. Out of that, he just got rid of it as quick as possible, pretend like nothing happened. He knew he stuffed up. I think it should have been given. Whether that's a fair result for the game, because at the end of the day, City probably still would have found a way to win because they were playing out of their skin. Not out of their skin, but like Everton were playing out of their skin, and City were just they were going to find a way to score and they were going to find a way to win. I'm not going to say it changed that much of the game, but we sit here again, and you can't say where the shirt sleeve is, because if Adama was still playing in the league, his shirt sleeves are up at his shoulder, and everyone else has got shirt sleeves down to their arm. So there's no set precedent for where a shirt sleeve is. I think it's just more in the motion rather than the.
Do you just then complicated? Sorry, I was going to say, do you then just look at it and say elbow and down his handball? But then you look at it again and say, well, Weghorst probably has his wingspan is probably like Michael Jordan compared to Ryan Fraser, who's 5'2". So how's the fair?
I think they've complicated the rule. They've complicated this whole handball rule. Like,
make everybody wear, like AFL singlet from now on, and then singlet.
But Aaron, you would know it wasn't that far off when Reece James was on the line. That's exactly where it hit Reece James on the line. So
the difference being that's a goal, like it's going in if he doesn't do that, and then this one's where Roger is not being. He's not being targeted by anyone. Like he's not going to.
But can that matter? Because at the end of the day, if I foul someone and it's not affecting the play, does it still? I still get a red card for.
That's the same thing. If you foul someone in the box and you foul someone on the pitch, 9 times out of 10, if it's not in the box, it's going to be a free kick. But in the box, it's not going to be a penalty.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just these things should be black and white. They should be fair.
If that happens anywhere else on the field, it's a free kick. They're calling a handball 100% of the day.
Yeah. But the fact that it went to VAR, this is just another VAR. I can understand the ref not seeing it because his eyesight probably his view wasn't great. But VAR not giving this is atrocious. And Morty, I want to ask you: does it decide the title race? Can it have? It definitely has an impact, but could that 3 points come down?
We've lost it for less. Like. We lost the league to 2 millimeters, so there's still games to play. There's still time to go. We're still going to play.
You also won a title on the weekend from VAR. Sorry.
We're not going to get into that just yet, but we will get into that game. But we'll finish off the round, though, with the West Ham 1-0 over Wolves. I mean, does anyone want to speak too long about this game? West Ham, I mean, they're back in decent form. They're still in 5th, but they're looking okay. Campo? You don't like West Ham, but give us your thoughts on the game.
Just Wolves, look, they're lackluster. They didn't create nothing that game. And West Ham had all the chances that game from what I saw. And it was a fair result at the end of the day. And they're still going to push for European football if they get it. I don't know, but they'll be pushing for it.
does a result like this for Wolves mean they're not going to get European football?
Oh, they'll still fight for it, but it makes it. They could poach Conference League.
Yeah. Morty, good finish for them if they can get Conference League.
Pretty much, West Ham they're on track. They're well above what any of us predicted at the start of the season. So we can't keep going off their form of what they were in, because across the board they've been well above what we've all predicted, and that they've gone back and get another win here. And Wolves, they've been playing defensively out of their skin for the past 2 months now. I think this is more just a bit of tiredness and a bit of, almost if not there, and it's just someone has to win at the end of the day, pretty much. So,
Tony, around.
Mate, Souček scores every week, doesn't he? He's always on the score sheet, that bloke. He loves getting a
He's
goal.
for a while, has he?
And he still only gets 4 goals a season, but
honestly, the bloke scores every week and he ends up on 1 goal. So, fair play to West Ham. We've spoken the last couple of weeks about how they're dropping off. They were somewhat in the driver's seat for that top 4 if you go back 5-6 weeks ago. So I still don't think they'll get top 4. Like I said, I think that's, unless they bottle it, that's Arsenal's position. Maybe Tottenham's the challenge for them. But that Europa, and let's be honest, we want to be, teams want to be in Europa, not Conference League. I think that Europa League push, this is a massive result towards it. And unfortunately for Wolves, is it top 7? Is Conference League 7th? Is it 7th or 8th? 7th?
7th, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that does mean that Wolves will finish outside that top 7, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, for West Ham, they're still in the Europa League. They've got a chance to go all the way if they really want to. That they're good enough to in reality. I don't think they're going to go and beat Barcelona, but strange things have happened. But yeah, for Wolves, I do agree with you guys. I think that they are a little bit out of reach, just because of the fact that the Tottenhams, the Arsenals have games in hand on them, and probably are just a better team in general. But it's a great season for Wolves regardless.
Their next few games are pretty easy. Wolves they got Palace, Watford, Everton, Leeds, Villa,
and that
they're
they got
going to get
almost maximum points there, and they're all of a sudden they're in 4th. So
because at the same time, West Ham are going to go on to play Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham, Everton, Brentford. There's probably 2 games lost there already.
You just act as if West Ham didn't beat Liverpool last time they played, wasn't it? Didn't you guys get upset by West Ham?
You're not wrong, but they've also upset City, so it's a fair game.
All right.
Hey, Campo, you got the popcorn? You got the popcorn already, Campo?
Well, it's the final game of the pod, but it's the Carabao Cup final. I don't know. Did you guys do a prediction for this game in the preview?
I did call penalties, but I said Kepa was going to win, so I wasn't far off. I'm not Kepa. Is it Kepa? Yeah. I said Kepa would come off the bench for penalty shootouts.
As you can see there, bottom of the penalty, 10 perfect penalties for Chelsea, 1 horrible penalty, 11 perfect penalties for Liverpool. Morty, I'll let you go first. What were your thoughts on the game to start, and then obviously winning the trophy?
Just clear it up. It's a piss cup. I'm not going to sit here and celebrate it too hard, because we call it a piss cup every year.
It means the quadruple's on, though, is it not? I'm sick of hearing it, but it means the quadruple's on somehow.
But somehow City get glorified for winning it every year too. So I take of it what you will. But at the end of the day, most people were calling it the best 0-0 draw they've ever seen. So arguably, it was a better game to watch than the 2-0 over Spurs in the final. So can't take nothing away. Both teams had goals ruled out. Arguably, I don't think there's any wrong calls made. I think it was ref pretty well. Tony, you can sit there smoking all you want, but at the end of the day, fairly gone. Fairly happy with it. So.
Oh, so he's lagging.
Your one ruled out obviously was ruled out for offside, but I thought originally it looked like it was going to be ruled out for obstruction or interference with the play.
It wasn't obstruction, but it was obstruction from offside. So if he'd done that from onside, it would be fine. But because he was offside,
the player,
right. So
the player was offside.
Yeah. So we're happy with that one.
Oh, I'm fine. At the end of the day, he was off and he's standing in the way. So what am I going to say? So.
Thoughts on the Lukaku offside goal? That I just can't comprehend it. You can't see where the line. I don't get it. Where are the lines? And I thought at the beginning of the season they said that if lines are overlapping, that it's play on.
But we've also seen throughout the season that been the same thing.
Hold on. We're not going to talk about happening for the season because if this was to cost you a league title against Man City next time you play them, are you saying it's the right call?
Huh? But
You score a goal like this against Man City. Hold on. You score a goal like this against Man City, it gets ruled out. They score a goal 2 minutes later and win the league. Are you going to be okay with that?
What do you want me to say? Like, I can't sit here
Are you
and
going
go
to be okay
either
with
way.
it?
Huh?
Are you going to say it's a fair offside?
It's the right call, or do you think they got it wrong?
My issue. What do you want me to say? You want to wind it up? You want to get going? Because
No, I just want to know. Do you think it was a good call? Or do you think it was a bad call? Don't worry about the rest of the season. Was it a good call or a bad call?
You can't sit here and say you're going to worry about the rest of the season because you got to take that into context because it's happened throughout the season. It would have changed the last 2 years if we're not going to officiate like that.
So I've seen handballs not get given all season, so the Man City one's fine.
Huh?
I've seen Man City handballs like that all year. They've been not given or given. So
it's just it's annoying because again it's a VAR call that decides a game. And look, we go and score that early on in extra time. You guys probably go and score again. Like the way the game was going, I don't think it was ever one team was going to win unless it was penalties. And like you said, it's probably the most entertaining nil or draw you could possibly have. And I can't be too upset just because the way we played was phenomenal. And that's what I just want to see us carry on towards the end of the season. Because who knows, we can go far in FA Cup, we can go far in Champions League, and we can just get that third spot wrapped up. It was impressive to watch. As a neutral, I mean, one of the best games you could watch all season. But one team had to win, one team had to lose. And I just knew that when Kepa stepped up for that pen, it was always going to be Karma. It was always going to be him that missed the penalty that decided it. Tony, thoughts on the decision to bring him on? And yeah, the miss.
I mean, he's proven that he's won you games like that before. The only thing I'm going to disagree with is in times past when this has happened, your keeper hasn't been having an absolute blinder in that game. I think Mendy was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And honestly, whether you want to bring Kepa on for penalties or not, when Mendy's in that sort of form, making those kind of saves, the way both keepers were, because Liverpool could have brought on Alisson, but the way both keepers were playing, I think both keepers deserve to obviously go to that penalty shootout. And I'd argue that I reckon Mendy would have saved one if he was in goals.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% agree with you. I think, like you said, it's worked in the past. It worked in the Super Cup. So you can trust that Tuchel did it for a reason. But when a keeper's having an absolute blinder and playing out of his skin, you should just trust that he's in good form, and he probably will save one or two. I do think that if Mendy saves in goals, we probably do win that. But again, I think that life goes around full circle. It made sense that he was the one to miss
saying that. A Liverpool fan got aboard it. They got the take home thanks to Kepa. So he's a hero as well. So
he's not out on the stadium.
I don't know if it was a fan walking past. Someone's got a ball at home, and it's thanks to Kepa. So I think they're happy.
Campo, thoughts on the game? It was an entertaining watch?
On the offside call, if Lukaku scores where that line is drawn, is that given handball? Because I think it is. So
what do you mean?
So where that line from Lukaku is drawn, where they're marking the lines, it's from his elbow. If you score with your elbow, that's handball. They're ruling that goal off. So I don't know why they're drawing the lines from there. It's either from the shoulder, or I don't see.
That's the difference between, again, whoever's in VAR is the fact that some people are drawing it from shoulders, some people are drawing it from elbows, and God knows where the other people are drawing it from.
So there's too much inconsistency with VAR there, and then again that was probably the worst goalkeeping display I've ever seen in a penalty shootout. Kepa and
keepers or
just Kelleher and Kepa, I guess, right sides. They both should have pulled off probably 3 saves each.
You can't sit there and say they should have saved this because it's a
hold on. In saying that,
most of them
are saying that, Van Dijk was given 3/4 of the goals and took on Kepa where he was standing and still scored. Like Kepa should have saved.
I don't even
Van Dijk attitude.
I don't even fault Kepa for that because that's a great pen. That's actually top in.
Yeah.
No matter if he's standing there or not, like he's hit that with some.
I'm a midget, and if I put my hand up, it would have been in the top corner.
Yeah, but
I would have been able to.
When the camera's behind it, you forget how quick that ball's actually going towards that goal. If you put it side on, the ball's going a lot quicker than you realise.
I'm just happy we're not looking at the
on the side, so like he's not expecting it, but yeah.
I just think
I'm
if
just happy
Alisson,
we're not looking at De Gea anymore for a
If
keeper
Alisson-
who fucked up last.
if you put Alisson and Mendy in there, I think they both save 3 of those comfortable.
Yeah, but we didn't throw Alisson there because we kept faith in our keeper, and that's what Klopp had come out. That's why Kelleher played.
I know. I'm saying that was probably the worst goalkeeping display I've seen in a penalty shootout for a long time.
Since
But
the Europa
again,
League.
that 11-10 from the Dean Henderson, I don't think he saved the penalty his whole career. But yeah, fair. Liverpool probably did deserve it. They were the more aggressive team.
You think Liverpool deserved the game?
Based on it, yes.
Campo, did you watch the game or the highlights?
I don't
Ask that
know.
question.
I know Liverpool were the more aggressive.
I think the only way this game was decided was penalties. I don't think either team deserved it. I think Liverpool
Chelsea stood on side, you might have had a chance, but you're
Yeah.
offside 20 other
the
times.
only real crazy moment I think that Liverpool had was the double save from Mendy. Maybe one or two others. Apart from that, I think we had the more clear-cut chances. Mount was definitely just didn't have his shooting boots with him. I'm not sure what's going on because he should have had 2 himself. Pulisic could open the scoring early, but I don't know. It's penalties. It's the way it goes.
Well, that might be Kepa's last game in a Chelsea shirt.
No, because he's
just
won his penalty shoots before. It's just unfortunate. It's just the way it goes. He's not our starting keeper at the end of the day. So
it'd be like
How
saying
old is
Origi is last game in Liverpool shirt because he didn't get a winner this one. He's got a winner in every other bloody final he's played. So
No, but I'm saying there's no way they're not going to bring on Mendy for a penalty shootout after that.
yeah, but you got to try things sometimes. Like that's the point. That the whole point. What was the World Cup 20? What year was it? 14?
when Tim Krul did it?
Yeah, Germany bring on one. No, who bring one on?
Netherlands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Netherlands did it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah,
like
right.
that was like the first of recent times. Then now teams have been doing it for fun, like Chelsea done it a few times.
Yeah, it's part of the mind games.
Oh,
No, United let De Gea play it out.
no, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's been happening. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's a manager decision at that point, and it goes right sometimes, it goes wrong sometimes. So yeah, the only worry for me I suppose, this is Chelsea's 4th domestic cup final loss in a row. To City, Arsenal, Leicester, and now Liverpool. So we need to get back on track at Wembley because that was once our second home. So, but I mean, look, credit to Liverpool. There's now their 9th League Cup, so the most out of any team. But who knows? I think it's going to propel the rest
Most
of
trophies of any team. Again,
Oh,
further stretching
It's
the league.
equal.
I didn't give you a chance.
It's equal.
It's not equal.
It's equal. If you count every title that has ever been handed out to both clubs, it's equal.
Okay, but we don't count those trophies though.
That's like saying we don't count.
Campo counts Audi Cup, so why are you not counting Community Shields?
Hey,
Because when there's nothing else to count, they've got to give them something.
Campo's also counting Son and Kane link up to the trophy, so
All
there's
I know
only
is, hey, we don't want to count the Community Shield. It's more prestigious than a Tin Pot Cup. It's the winner. It's the FA Cup winner versus the league winner. It's arguably two of the best teams versus. We've seen Wigan win one of these cups before, so I'll let you take your poison with that.
we won the FA Cup, mate. That's decorated.
There's been
That's
one Audi
decorated,
Cup.
but
There's been one Audi Cup. There's been about 1,000 Champions League. I know which one I want.
We're gonna
the
wrap
Conference
it up.
League. The Conference League.
We're wrapping it up, boys. We're wrapping it up. It's a long pod. Thanks for joining me as usual, lads, and we'll see you for the next preview.
Peace.